So because we think this is more fair, right? Or because I thought the fairness should be like amount of Shima they have. Otherwise, it should be, for example, like the exchange. Probably my point of view, they shouldn't get it because it's not their token if they're not sharing it with their users, which are the ones should get the token. But for others, as long as the Shima token is in their wallet, if they have a ton of Shima token, it's a compensation they should have. Is that the right thinking? Actually, I don't understand the point. We should make it curved. It sounds like socialism, right? Oh,
Edward, do you want to discuss that with Garrett?
no, actually, yeah, I just want to understand the point better. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think, and I could be wrong, but my understanding was Edward thought the current distribution wasn't fair with many whales out there, I guess. Garrett, well,
Yeah.
Edward's mic might not be working, but so I definitely agree on the exchanges not, shouldn't get tan, but what are your thoughts on something like, the IOTA Foundation?
Yeah, honestly, I think the same theory because they are not the investor of the Shima token. They created it and they just sit on their token. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's another question. Do we have a way to identify addresses that are exchanges and the IOTA Foundation?
This is a good question. I think before a team called IOTA Explorer team or Tangle Explorer, actually, I think they have a way to get a tag of the special addresses out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and I think a few times different people have created tags and identified definitely the exchanges, some of the IOTA ones, and then so just to get a clear understanding, so like identifying exchanges and organizations, but like if someone had 20 million IOTA, but in Shimmer, whatever that's equivalent in Shimmer, and they're an individual, they should still get their TAN tokens, right?
Yeah, I feel it this way. Yeah.
Okay. Edward, Garrett was just asking, he didn't understand the reasoning behind the curve.
Yeah, well, I think not dissimilar to a progressive tax rate, right? People who earn more money pay a higher rate of tax for the additional amount that they earn. The tapering out of these kinds of things happen quite a lot, and people with so the idea would be to simply have that mathematical limit for the amount that people with very, very high IOTA and Shimmer balances can receive in TAN, without similarly limiting the people with lower balances in Shimmer and IOTA.
Yeah.
But I think also just like, why regulate people with more TAN, I think is his question.
Yeah.
By regulating with more TAN? I don't think you should. I'm just talking about the initial distribution, aren't I? I mean, is that what we're discussing?
He's just asking, why should people with more Shimmer and IOTA not get as much TAN as someone with less Shimmer and IOTA?
Oh, right. Well, you do it linear, then that's a choice. I mean, I don't think it's about making it. In the end, there's a decision has to be made about how to distribute the Shimmer. My recommendation is that it's not linear, simply because people with the wallets with the most amounts of Shimmer and IOTA are institutional wallets or very high net worth individuals. and they don't. Whether they need the tan or not, I don't know. I imagine they don't. But with a new tan that is designed for higher participation and not just, I mean, you've talked about voting power. Of course, that's a valid point as well. You need to distribute the tan initially. It won't be forever because obviously there's trading, but the initial distribution, the initial airdrop of tan seems to me to be reasonable to try to at least partly level the playing field. I'm not saying cap anything. I'm saying make it a result of a formula that tapers out for the higher amounts, for the people with the highest balances, or with very high balances, so that it serves a little to level the playing field. Not completely. It's not like a fixed amount for every address. There is certainly a curve, and people with more shimmer will get more tan. But going from, let's say, 100 shimmer to 1,000 shimmer, or 1,000 shimmer to 10,000 shimmer, will earn you more tan as a percentage, as a ratio, than going from a billion shimmer to 10 billion shimmer.
Yeah,
So,
I got your point. And I
now,
agree,
whether
I
that's
think,
a good,
yeah.
a moral thing to do or an ethical thing to do is a question of discussion. That was why I brought it up.
Yeah.
It's for that discussion. The easy way, obviously, is just linear.
Yeah.
My feeling is that given that TAN is designed to be decentralized and wants to encourage engagement, I think you're better off. I think the organization from the outset is better off with the initial distribution favoring the lower balances and still giving more to the highest shimmer owners and IOTA owners. They will still get more than anyone else, but they will get a lower ratio compared to their shimmer and IOTA balances. I'm not saying they get less. I'm saying they do get more, but the amount more that they get is diminished.
Yeah. Got your point. Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's something we have to choose. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just play devil's advocate for a second, just to both points, and I see both points. I always look at, like, again, the risk, because in the early stages, so, there's one aspect that could be said of, okay, shimmer holders are going to get the most tan. So if we were to exclude exchanges, let's say, and large organizations or the IF, then those left are people that invested the most into shimmer,
Yeah.
and then would get the most of that airdrop. If we did let's say, a level playing field, there could be a risk that due to the lower value of TAN tokens, and someone could buy up like an adversary if they wanted to gain a large governance voting, and you'd have someone that isn't really necessarily invested in the vision. But just a thought. I think we need more discussion of it. We should discuss this next week. I think we definitely came some good points on the technical side. We've got the distribution down. We could write up through the spreadsheet of, well, we'll have to wait till next week because then we got to figure out the distribution. But at least we got one part of the airdrop, as in the IOTA shimmer distribution. Now we got to figure out, how we distribute, if we're going to do it on a curve, if we're going to do it on caps, if we just simply do it as it is without going to exchanges, etc. And we can discuss that next week. Jiggle did just post that he found a snapshot used in the node setup. Of course, we should replace the snapshot with the current, right? And it's good. So, and just on that discussion before, Garrett, so what you're saying is basically the Excel spreadsheet can be,
Yes.
it can be
that is
converted
the
into
actual amount of shimmer and IOTA token in the period of that time. So which is supposed to be the snapshot itself.
But what I'm saying is that spreadsheet can be converted into a database file and then basically loaded into the node, and then it can create a genesis, right?
So before we were actually thinking, I see. This is a good point because this is a huge amount of data. and we were thinking there were two ways. One is to make people we send it to all the addresses, which is a huge work because there will be like hundreds of thousands of addresses out there.
Yeah.
And another method is like they will have to get something from like a faucet, and then they can claim themselves.
Well, and I would say that's the best way. That is what the IF has done every time. As well, what happens generally is it almost cleans out users that have kind of given up and walked away from it, because then they won't claim. And then after 1-2 years, of course, and most every crypto does this, and that then goes to the community treasury for individuals that don't claim. So
Yeah.
I think that would be a better bet there.
Sure.
And Jigil is saying that they even have a INX faucet code base, which is good, compatible with Stardust and IOTA 2.0. Yeah, wasn't the IOTA, was the IOTA 2.0, is that the new one, or is that the one when it had the validator committee or the distributed coordinators?
Not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. But yeah, and something we can discuss. Let me just write these down so I don't forget. So we got two things. One, what do we call it? Do we distribute TAN on a curve to lower the playing field? How do you want to word that, Edward? Distribute on a curve to...
Yeah, just distribute on a tapering curve. That's all.
On a tapering curve. I'll just say tapering curve.
What it means is we don't. The separate question that's been discussed today, I haven't really chimed in, is about explicitly excluding certain addresses if they're institutional or exchanges or whatever. I don't know whether that's necessarily a good idea, but again, for a discussion in the future. But what I want to emphasize is that the idea of the tapering curve means no one misses out, and anyone who has more Shimmer or more IOTA gets more TAN. Nobody is excluded, and the amount doesn't decrease when your Shimmer balance goes too high. It keeps going up. The amount keeps going up that you get, but it goes up more slowly.
Sure. Okay. So we've got those 3 discussion points to discuss, and then do we set up a faucet or automate the airdrop? Okay. All right. So we've got some technical questions that the Tangle Pay team will come back on. We then have the questions before we can create the spreadsheet to show people what they'll get, which is, do we blacklist exchanges and organizations? Do we distribute TAN on a tapering curve? Or do we just cap addresses? Or do we do nothing? And then do we set up a faucet or automate the airdrop? All right, we can discuss that for next week. Also, Chigo found a few good code snippets for the global snapshot and the INX faucet, which is awesome to have that we know that's there in case we want to move in that direction. Garrett, really appreciate you coming, and we can probably maybe bring those answers to the node operators channel when your team of devs get back from that, and we would really appreciate that. And unless any major technical questions come up, I think we just move back to the regular meeting time next week, if that's good with everyone. Does anyone else have any questions or concerns for today? Okay. Garrett, thanks again for coming, and yeah, appreciate it, and hopefully we'll get there to where we can get our airdrop soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you.